we have been arguing for a long time about the impact of COVID on sports. And a lot of it has been whether or not you could play games, whether it was safe to play, all of those aspects. I got a data point for you that I shared yesterday. Big study out that college football and the NFL, with limited attendance stadiums, did not in any way aid the spread of COVID. And so that, I believe, is a big deal because there's no real argument out there at all anymore that you can't have at least 25% of stadiums filled with football fans. Now, to their credit, in Canton, Ohio, they have said for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Classic, or whatever the heck that thing's called, in early August, when the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys take the field, they hope that they are going to be able to have 100% full attendance. And I think if you look at the data, I think that that is easily supportable based on the data, the numbers that are out there right now. Number of people hospitalized with COVID's collapsing, down over 80% in the last 6 or 7 weeks. The number of overall COVID positive cases plummeting in general. We talked about, I believe it was on Friday on this show, big editorial written in the Wall Street Journal, basically laying out the argument, hey, we have reached herd immunity. That's the only thing in that Johns Hopkins doctor's opinion that could explain why the cases are dropping like they are. It was too early in the vaccination era for cases to start to drop like they did on January 8th. The number started to, the bottom started to fall out of the cases. That's when we started our decline. And since then, it has turned into a precipitous decline. And we've now vaccinated over 60 million people. Over 100 million have already had COVID. That means we're rapidly approaching half of the country either having had this virus or already being vaccinated for it. There just simply are not a lot of people who are going to be able to get COVID going forward. And in fact, that doctor said that he believed by the end of April, effectively, COVID would be over as a pandemic in this country. It's a good read. I shared it. You can go read it at Outkick. You can go type it in on the search engine. If you want to read that article in the Wall Street Journal, you can search it out as well. One of their big editorials. My argument here, we got to open up baseball stadiums. I think a huge reason why people are fearful of getting back to normalcy is sports. Because sports are selling the idea, if you see into a stadium and there's a tiny number of people that you're able to see in that stadium, they are selling the idea that it's still not safe to be out and about in public. And I started really thinking about this when I saw in Ohio a report that Governor Mike DeWine was going to come out and say, hey, for Indians games and for Reds games, we're going to allow 30% of attendance to exist. And I know Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, we've had a lot on the show. We've had Governor Abbott down in Texas. We've had him on the show as well. I would imagine they're going to be close to full attendance for baseball games. I really do think that. Now, there's a joke there. What is full attendance for the Miami Marlins? 14,000 people? What is full attendance for the Tampa Bay Rays? 12,000 people? Like, when I saw those numbers, some of you started to joke about it as well. April baseball in cold weather climates, there's not a lot of people that are excited about going out and watching these games anyway. But what I wonder is this. Why not just go ahead and say, hey, we're going to have at least 50% capacity, but we're not even going to put a cap on it early. We're just going to open up selling seats, and we're going to see how many people are actually willing to come watch Major League Baseball games. And maybe initially in a 40,000 seat stadium, we say there are 20,000 seats available. But if people want to continue to buy tickets, we'll sell it to them. I think we need to start to send the message that going to a sporting event is a normal thing to do and that people who want to make that choice should be allowed to do it. Now, I don't know how many people want to go. I'll tell you that I would. My 10-year-old has become a big Atlanta Braves fan. I would right now sign up to be in a stadium with as many fans as they wanted to sell tickets of in Atlanta to watch the Braves play. I've been to college football games. I've been to NFL games. I've been to college basketball games. I'm getting on a plane tomorrow to fly to Mexico. If I'm willing to do all of that, my kids have been playing sports. I've been watching them play in gyms for months now. Their little league baseball seasons are about to start. I'm willing to take my family and go sit and have a hot dog and have a beer and watch the Atlanta Braves play, which is my 10-year-old's favorite team. We traveled down to Atlanta to the Battery. It's a great setup there. All the restaurants are open. The escape game is open. All of the places are selling beer right outside the gates of the Atlanta Braves Stadium. There are 1,000 people lined up watching the game played on a big screen. There are people watching from the hotel rooms. And you're telling me we can't sit in the stadium? I think we just got to open it up. And I might be the first person to argue this in sports. And some of you may say, oh my God, Clay Travis, you are crazy. And I understand if you don't want to do it, but I think we got to open these stadiums up and we got to start selling as many tickets as people want to come and watch. Because we have to return to normalcy. And we can't stay curled up in the fetal position forever. They're saying 25% attendance for spring training. I think they need to just open up ticket sales. You can segment them. You can spread them out a little bit. But just see how many people actually want to come to the games. If you don't want to go to the games, guess what? You don't ever have to go again. You can watch every game on television. You can say, I'm not interested in sports any longer. That is certainly your right. Nobody is going to argue against you having the right to make that choice. But to me, and I'm going to keep beating the drum because we were one of the only radio shows out there that was advocating anywhere for football to be played. I worked as hard as I could for college football to be played, and now I'm going to work as hard as I can for baseball to return to normalcy. Let people who want to buy tickets go sit in the stadium, have a beer, eat a hot dog, enjoy a game in person. Baseball should be the first sport to open back up to full fruition and say, we'll sell tickets. Because I think a lot of these baseball games in April and May, they don't sell out anyway. I think it will take a while for baseball to be sold out. In an ideal world, I think by the All-Star break in baseball, every stadium should be 100% back open in Major League Baseball. But I understand not every place is going to do it. I would start in Florida and Texas and Georgia, places where there are openness, maybe Arizona as well, to allowing fans back in the stands more so. We may have to wait a while in New York and in California, but I am telling you it is past time to return to letting people into Major League Baseball stadiums. It's time. Now is the time. If you don't want to go, you don't have to. I'm going to beat the drum. I'm going to keep beating the drum in the days and the weeks ahead as we get ready for the Major League Baseball season. I'll be there. I bet a lot of you listening would be there as well.